Who would have thought you were so interesting? Death seems to have worked out very well for you. Agarth's looking for escape, Neuralim's looking for a savior, and Tatarian is looking for a champion, and somehow, you're giving everyone what they want. I'm impressed. Agreed. We are facing more important problems than your ongoing identity crisis. The Tuatha have laid siege to the eastern city of Mel Senshir for years, and the time has come to break it. Gadflow awaits over mountainous walls, swampy forests, and roiling straits. Breaking the siege at Mel Senshir is the only way to reach him. But we are not alone in our fight. In the plains of Erethel, there is a player who has been away from this game for far too long. It is time to contact General Telera. Meet me in the village of Emir. I will have more information for you there. We are the charmed, the subtle, and the inspired. In happier days, we were the loftiest of the mortal races. We despise open war. But for decades, the Tuatha have been at war with us, pushing into our lands and forcing us to take up arms. Tatarian isn't quite what you'd expect from the High King of Summer, but he hasn't got the arrogance of his cousins, or their cheer. Ever since Gadflow killed the High King of Winter and started the war, Tatarian has become distant and melancholy, and blind to the dangers around him. Be on your way.
They were the harbingers of the fall, these children of dust. And they lit the forest with their fires, and then split.
There's a bed if you're stopping over, a tankard if you're thirsty, and a fire to warm by in the Golden Plains Inn. Always open. Take a seat and grab a tankard, stranger. Just keep your bit. Always open.
Just give me a straight answer. Is the General still in the cradle of summer?
She is for as much good as it'll do her. But the cards don't lie. She'll never get that door open. Fate says it's so.
Yes. Well, then I suppose we'll just have to change fate, won't we? Thank you for coming all this way. I don't know if you heard that, but it sounds as if General Talera is still here in exile. For all but losing the fortress of Mel Senshir. Long ago, Talera led our forces, but then the Tuatha produced a foe she could not best. Her forces barely survived the retreat out of Cluracan. Many blamed her for the loss, to have built up hopes so high, only to have them topple. That was Talera's crime, and she has paid for it, day after day. In some matters, that is true enough, but you're mistaken this time. We need the siege of Mel Senshir lifted, and for that, we need Talera. According to that Fate Weaver, we can find her in the Cradle of Summer, searching for an artifact that can turn this war in favor of the Alpha. She does this, even though she is fated never to succeed. Aid her now, and she will aid us in the battle to come. General Talera was in charge of our forces to the east in Cluracan, but a decade ago, Witch Knight Malwyn and his Tuatha army drove her forces back. Since then, she's been looking for some way to take back the land she lost and regain her honor. You might be just the help she needs. In a hidden valley, northwest of the plains of Erethel, the ruins of Earl Tusk lie undisturbed, as they have for many centuries. What Talera wants there is beyond me, but I trust her, even if it goes against my better judgment. You should be just what the General's looking for.
From the naked dirt sprang the Majestics, the firstborn of the wilds of Ashara. Around the solemn splendor of a one-year summer moon. And they responded, and the earth moved. The carver shaped, the architect built, and the shaper composed.
Hail! I am General Talera ap Gwydion, former commander of the Eastern Alfar forces. Surely you're not the aide Alyn Shir promised. She spoke as if she planned to send a whole squad of soldiers, not one faceless mercenary. You have the bearing of one that's seen combat, but you never fought in the war, or you would know who I am. Once I was the commander of Mel Senshir, the Alfar fortress to the east. I held back the Tuatha at every push before the Baelor came. Then everything fell to pieces. Understood. But you wouldn't be the first person that Alyn Shir has used. Most of the time, you don't even know she's doing it. Not that I need any help in my misfortune. You see, all those who involve themselves with me soon face disaster. Such is the fate I have been dealt. The Baelor is a thing of dread. A Niskaru lord that the Tuatha managed to coerce into fighting on their behalf. Against the Tuatha, I had some success. But no ordinary weapon can best the Baelor. One must fight darkness with light. Mel Senshir is the gateway into Cluracan, but it's been under siege ever since my defeat. I failed the city once. I can't fail them again. Earl Tusk, the tomb of the Divine Fang, the piercing light. With a weapon like that, I could rally the troops at Mel Senshir and perhaps redeem myself. They say the ruin is guarded by legions of niskaru, led by a beast known as Azagal. Whether this is true or the stuff of legend, I don't know. We may be lofty, but we are not weak. Our land is cold and harsh, and we have long studied the noble arts of bow and blade. Across 1,000 battlefields, my spear paints a red masterpiece. With Tuatha raiding parties along the shores, Rathir has the only port for safe passage across the strait. But after assisting Mel Senshir for so many years, the ruling council of Rathir is loath to offer more aid for what they see as a lost cause. 10 years ago, I served the Alfar armies, defending Cluracan and Mel Senshir from the Tuatha armies. Then, Witch Knight Malwyn led his Tuatha summoners against us. The fiends routed my soldiers at every turn. Now they've had Mel Senshir under siege for years, while I've been searching for a weapon to turn the tide. The years have been long since I first learned of the means that might deliver Mel Senshir from the Tuatha. It lies in Tusk, beyond a gate fated never to be opened, in a hall awash with niskaru. Any who seek access to the ruin must face them. These ruins are said to be the resting place of the Piercing Light, a spear carved from the tusk of the Niskaru Duke, Gajur. The legends say it destroys any horror, in the mind or on the battlefield. No place is more deserving of such a power as Mel Senshir. The ruin holds the only weapon known that can slay a Niskaru lord, and the monsters inside will do anything to keep it safe. The Arathi sealed Tusk to be opened only when the great voices rise in song. This may refer to the wind stones scattered across the plains, but I can't be sure. Years ago, this chime was found near the ruin. I've tried using it to make the wind stones sing, but I've had no luck. As if that's a surprise. Long after the Arathi left our world, the mortals built these wind stones to call them back down. I've never seen them work, but, as I said before, I'm not known for my good fortune. The wind stones are located...
Departing their home beyond the veil, the firstborn were torn asunder, with a cry that still lingers in the heart of every god tree and mountain. Then, emptiness, followed by a darkening sky, and the frost wept with the first winter.
I can't believe it. The gate shifted? For all my efforts, you simply appear and make it respond. No one could, not even Fate Weavers. They say that fate has woven no thread to open these doors. And yet, you've done it. But we must not stop here, not when good fortune smiles upon us. The gate opens, but you must find the remaining windstones and strike the chimes. I will stay here. The niskaru within will sense the gate weakening. Someone will need to hold them back. I'll stay here and fight any niskaru.
Be mindful of your actions. The Shaper bequeathed her music to the countryside of marbled ruin. The plains birthed the gentle grass. Listless streams meandered through the verdant hills and babbled of their gentle travel to the face of the windswept cliffs. Thus the symphony of Arethel began.
Huh?